together to get the screw aligned, and it goes at a slight angle at first. There we go. Do not force this screw, otherwise it will ruin the thread. So remember, push it together and put it at an angle, so it just very lightly does up. That's it. Okay. Remove these bolts here. These are your wing retention bolts. You need to ensure this gear is down to go onto the fuselage, so you may have to blow some air into one of these. I don't know which one it is, either red or blue. The red line makes the gear come down. It's easier if you have someone hold it, the wing, whilst you're doing this, but obviously red to red. Twist and make sure these are fully locked. Blue to blue, twist and make sure they're fully locked. And then clear is your brake line. Oh. Well, it doesn't matter about the clear because we have no brakes on this fitted right now, but when you do have brakes, if you choose to fit brakes.
Morning, how are you?
Morning, thank you. Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, you can fit that.
I just thought if you brought a bigger van, you could bring more models.
No, it's only half full this morning.
Okay.
Green to green.
Very nice.
Thank you. And then the one with the tape is just a spare one. It's easier to push into the wing. There's a bigger access from the wing. So again, red line. The builder set this up so it could have brakes at a later stage, so the brake lines are run in there. If you wanted to fit brakes, then you can. The tubing's in there ready, but right now it hasn't got them, so it's just red to red, blue to blue, and then again green, push, and the spare one, push. This one, the clear, is nothing because it's the brake. Push. Very important is this. You must remove this. This is the vent. The fuel comes out of here, so when you're filling it, this must be unblocked. We put this in for transport to stop any fuel from coming out, but when you fill up, you must take that out. The only really awkward part of the plane is doing the wing bolts up. They go inside here. 5mm Allen driver goes in at an angle. I try and do most of it up by hand if I can, because it's quicker by hand, and that way I know if I'm cross-threading it. If it feels stiff, the bolt, then stop, otherwise you're cross-threading the nut. So I do it up and then get a ball driver, and then see if I can get in here and just tighten up the rest. It doesn't have to be super tight, it's only holding the wings from slipping outwards. As you can see, it's quite awkward to get the right angle in there. Like that, so. Right. Same again this side.
Couldn't get this come up with anything.
So it was a little bit stiff there, so I didn't tighten it up. I just moved it a little bit and got it so I could just tighten it nearly all the way by hand. You could also get a normal Allen key in there if you wanted to. It might be easier, in fact, with a normal Allen key, an L-shaped Allen key. Only the last few turns has to be done by Allen key. That's it. We don't have to access the cowling, the canopy at all really, but if you wanted to, I've sent you pictures that you can see. You take these two screws here off, and then it slides back and out, and you can see how you can unscrew the cockpit. It's all the silver screws, those two at the back there, and the back cockpit comes out, then the front slides out and you have access to everything, and also the dashboard you can take out with the little 2mm self-tapping screws. Everything is done through the cowling. You have 3 batteries here. There is radio marked R, radio marked R, they're the 2 radio ones for the power box, and T is turbine, and L is lights. The guy was going to fit lights but he never got round to it, but it's all plumbed up if you wanted to plug lights. All 2-cell lithium polymer, charge them at 2 amps or 2.5 amps each. Fully charged now, so at the beginning of the day I plug in R to R. It doesn't matter which way, either R can go, R and T. Don't worry about it if you get it the wrong way around, they're all the same batteries, so there's no damage can be done. Installing these or closing these, you have to bend the front, so this goes inside a little hook at the front, or a little tube at the front, and then up and locked. Make sure it's fully locked. And the same the other side. Other side is all the important systems. We have air lines. Gear is obviously the undercarriage, and that is for the brakes if you choose to have it, but we're only using the gear, this one here. Push in, pull that out and it releases. So push in, it's locked, and push in and it comes out. That's my filler. Turn it on, fill with fuel, and it'll come out the vent there, and then turn it off. Data logger if you choose to use it, and the main power switch. Obviously the main power switch, just like all jet cats, powers the turbine, so as soon as I switch that on, the radio comes on and the turbine comes on as well. If you want to connect the GSU, the data terminal, there is a plug back here inside the cockpit. You see it there at the back with the lights. Shouldn't have to do it, only if it goes wrong, and also the pressure gauge is at the back there for the undercarriage system. It's very important on this to charge the air up to about 120 psi to get the gear to cycle away. Below that, the gear will work on the ground, but when you take off, you may find that it doesn't retract. Right, radio, just like yours, except the throttle's on the other side, so I'll test flight on mine and then convert it over. The switches will be the same. Model name is Siai Marchetti. Normal jet cat operating procedure, trim back down to stop. Trim all the way up to arm, and then throttle up and it will start. Once it's started, return the throttle and leave it at idle for a few moments until it learns, and then you can throttle up and fly. We have the flaps here, so this is flaps up, takeoff flap and landing flap. You can take off without takeoff flap, but I recommend using it, but obviously always land with landing flap, otherwise it will float on. The gear switch is there. This is gear down, so away from you down is gear down, and this is gear up. These are my dual rate switches, aileron and elevator, so I'll show you in a second. That's high movement, medium and low, so if it's too sensitive for you maybe on the aileron, you can adjust it in flight. So gear down, radio on, switch on, hold. You know the power box system I'm sure, but hold the arm button till the red light comes on, then button 1 and button 2. You're looking for 2 green lights. If you look now at the ailerons, that's full deflection, with the switch up high is full movement, switch to middle and switch to low. So high, medium, low. The same with the elevator. If you look, I pull full up, high, medium and low. Okay. Rudder is the same but up here. So hold rudder, high, medium and low. This isn't too bad, the rudder, but just in case I set these up so you can tune it to how you feel is good, you know, if it's too sensitive or not. When you're rigging on the stand, be careful because the nose wheel comes a long way back. I have to put the stand quite a long way back to clear the nose wheel, around about here, and it may want to rock forward, but it's okay at the moment. But just make sure the nose wheel can clear. So this goes into gear. You can see on the back there, in the cockpit, the PSI gauge is 0. I'm going to pump it up now. Read it. So 115 PSI should do it. So release this. And then the gear switch here. Go up. No gear doors to worry about, so it's nice and simple, and gear down. Cool. That's it, we just have to fill up through there, and when it's full it will come out of there and we're ready to start. Cheers. Right, for filling with fuel, push that in there, push in. Make sure you turn this upwards so the fuel can flow and just fill. And when it's done, it will come shooting out of there. That's it. So we are ready to start. Trim up all the way and then throttle up. You can hear the engine.
If he's close that long,
I can cut, yeah, I can come in quite quickly with this.
I can't see that happening, mate.
Okay.
It's not on the radio. And
does that, if you get white smoke like that, it means it's missed the start. Just throttle back, it may go the second time. So trim up.